Alana, we've just heard that. We heard Francois Hollande last night saying Britain will suffer the consequences if indeed they do go for what is being termed as a hard Brexit, which is withdrawing, no membership of the single market and not signing up to any freedom of movement.
Well, Hollande, of course, won't be in place by the time any meaningful deal is.
And you do not think his successor will feel the same?
But I think actually, look, what's happening here is that the European Union is setting out their negotiating position. And what we need to do is set out our negotiating position, and then you have a negotiation. The danger that we have at the moment is it seems to me that in British politics, there are far too many people who are hearing a negotiating position coming from the European Union and saying that negotiating position is where we'll end up. It's a little bit like if I went to buy a car and there's a list price on that car, I will negotiate that price down. I won't simply say, oh, well, the person in the sales room is telling me this car is this price. There's no possible way of any movement from that. And actually, when you look at the Lisbon Treaty, Article 8 of the Lisbon Treaty makes it very, very clear that the negotiations will be conducted in a spirit of neighbourliness and cooperation.
Right, well, so when you look ahead to invoking Article 50, when the talks really begin, when we see exactly whose cards are on the table, will it not be a case then that the MEPs in Europe will look at it practically and pragmatically and not emotionally?
I think in some ways they have to. I mean, what would be the point of MEPs if we were to come up with a deal that works for the UK, that works for the other EU countries, if we were to come up with a deal that actually recognises the UK's strengths, and frankly, that's one of the things I want to see Theresa May doing, is actually playing the strong hand that we have in many areas. But if we came up with a deal that worked for everyone, in whose interests would it possibly be for the European Parliament to veto such a deal?
What do you think should happen to EU nationals that are here? Should there now be a statement, a clear statement from the government to say their position and their futures here are 100% guaranteed, as David Davis said, but Liam Fox wouldn't?
Yes, I think they should be. I mean, people who are living and working in the UK legally, we can't say to them, you've got to go back and you go back to the country that you've come from, just like the Spanish government would never say to British citizens living in Spain
well, they might
that they should come back to the UK. So, well, actually, I think the point is that if we say that's not an issue that's on the table at all, then they wouldn't. And actually, frankly, I think the Spanish government would recognise that Brits going out to retire to live abroad in Spain are actually taking a lot of money and bring that money into Spain.